Well, growing up in Indiana, it's a small, rural, agricultural area. I can always remember, like, people talking about Logansport, because, that's where all the Hispanics were, and they were stealing our jobs and, destroying the economy.
When I got here, there were not a lot of Spanish community, and it's been growing a lot. They all come here together and try to have a better life, and they find it. And there's lots of white people that would try to help us, but there's some like they don't.
Growing up, I was raised in the identity movement. I'd never been to church, and then we started going to a church in Rochester. And we helped out with the youth group, and that was a really good experience, honestly, very life-changing experience. But then it came up about my background in the identity movement. So we had a couple conversations, and I thought everything was fine, honestly. And then my friend, who had originally invited us, came out to our house and said, we're gonna give you guys a chance to kind of gracefully step down and pretend like it was your decision, but you can't come back. It's not gonna work. I made something up there, and we left, and I was done with church after that. Very much. Very much. We'd lost both groups of friends and family that we'd had through church, and we just didn't go to church for quite a while. I'd read the New Testament. I saw that, we were supposed to be in a fellowship of believers in the body of Christ, and that was a good thing. I just didn't know how we could ever accept any church again, really. Cassie was going into Logansport. She's like, oh, there's this church on Linden I drove by. We can try that one. I think they start later. And the bridge was nothing like what we had been praying for in a church. Saw all the Hispanic people coming in and figured this might be a Spanish-only church, and this could be very interesting. It felt like family in a way none of the other churches had. Nico's great. I remember him when we first went to the church, like the first day we were there. He brought us in and shook our hands and talked to us. So we started going to church, and I started to become more accepting of the church and the people in it. And then Zach came up to me and told me he was having a small group and wanted to know if I would come. And there, towards the beginning of the small group, we were all asked to share about ourselves, our testimony, our background story. Yeah, well, once I opened up, everyone seemed to respond very positively. Pretty accepting of my story, my background, the fact that I was still on a bit of a journey here. And then, of course, when I told my story, Nico was there, and Nico was very, very supportive.
It's so amazing how can God put all these different personalities, all these different persons in one room and then share life and our stories.
Well, being part of a church family finally has made a big difference, God has helped us heal a lot of the hurt we had. You go from, not believing in church and not wanting to be part of it, to go from that to feeling accepted and loved and actually having a church family and having never had that before. This is awesome. What was I doing without this?